Hi there, welcome to this introduction to NewsWhip for Newgate. So, to give you some background as to where NewsWhip's journey began, we were initially funded by the Associated Press and the Asahi Shimbun from Japan, and our heritage is in news publishing. So, we initially helped the media understand what stories are trending on social. So, we're working with everybody from ABC in Australia to the New York Times, and the data that we're pulling in is primarily web content, and we have partnerships with social platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Reddit will be coming in the next month, also Pinterest and Snapchat. So our work within news media and also misinformation gives us unique access to social media data, which allows us to create predictive analytics. Now, this predictive media intelligence allows us to forecast the future impact of digital media. So what we're able to do is actually help you understand where a story is going, how large it will be, who's influencing it, and give you the data to understand what type of decisions you need to make, if it's an issue that you need to react to, or if it's a trend that you want to be part of. Now, we're also able to look not only into the future, but into the past to unpack emerging topics over the last 12 months or 5 years, or we want to understand who are the most influential journalists that we measure, again, with social media engagement data to understand when they write about sustainability, who gets the most engagement with their audience, what publishers or Facebook pages do the same. We're able to look at content timelines to understand seasonality, when audiences consume specific types of content, when the best time of year or day is to publish. And also, importantly, benchmarking against competition to understand where our client sits in the media narrative, what type of engagement they're getting in comparison to their competition, and what content is working for other companies that might influence our decision making. Now, we're working with many PR agencies like the Brunswick Group, who's rolled out our technology globally, and they're really interested in using our predictive analytics to understand and inform what decisions they take during crisis situations. Will the story blow up and we need to be proactive, or is it better to sit back and take a breath because it's actually not gaining much traction and it won't in the future? Now, a quick view as to who uses our technology. So everyone from strategic planning to account directors to VPs and heads of digital and crisis will be using our technology. So to quickly look at the technology itself, we can understand here around aged care homes and COVID-19 in Australia and topics relating to this. So what we're looking at now is a view across web, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all looking at the same search, which is any mention of these keywords. So first, aged care, in relation to any mention around COVID, coronavirus. So these two entities are what we're searching for in Australia. So we can search by different topics, locations and languages, and of course, advanced Boolean searches for keywords. So if we look closer here, what we can see when we look at web content, these are the stories published within the last 12 hours that are predicted to have the most engagement. So for example, we can look down across all these stories to see what's having the most engagement. We can see the related articles to see which of these are getting the most engagement. And again, when we look at these articles, we can see that we're measuring by social engagement data. So we can see the number of likes, comments, and shares with this web article on Facebook, shares on Twitter, and where this story is predicted to go in the next couple of hours. So if we drop down here to the timeline view, we can actually see the probability or accuracy of this article. So we have an error rate of around 20%. So we're estimating to the final number about 10% above or below where that number will be when we predict. We can also look at who's influencing the story. So what are the Facebook pages that have shared this article and when, and the number of interactions that each share has created on Facebook or on Twitter. So if we want to get a good understanding of who's driving the narrative or who's influencing this story on Twitter or on Facebook, we can do so by looking at it here. So that's one example of how we can monitor a specific topic for an issue. But we can also look across all of our clients. And the benefit of NewsWhip is everything is unlimited. The data, the alerts, the searches, so you can look at multiple topics, clients, you can set alerts for anything you want. If you want to have a real-time alert for instant articles throughout the day, or if you want to be updated to all the most important stories at the very beginning of the day, so you can have a review in the morning and then be consistently updated throughout the day for any important stories that pop up. So this is very much looking into the future with Spike, our predictive monitoring tool. But if we wanted to look into the past, whether it's the last 60 days or 5 years, we can look historically again at aged care as it relates to coronavirus in Australia. So over the last 60 days, we can see the number of articles published. We can see the timeline of engagements. So again, we're measuring the media by the number of engagements on Facebook, and we can look at either the average interactions, the number of articles, and we can see it's all come to a peak here. If we want to investigate further, we can click on the node to understand what stories have created the most engagement over this given time period. Now, if we want to understand not only the content that's published on web, but the journalists and websites that are covering the story, we can see here who has been writing about aged care and coronavirus. Now, as long as the author is bylined, we will receive their name in the story, but some aren't, because it's just not. And we can see the stories that they've written here and understand who is having the most impact when they write about a given topic. So obviously this is good to understand who are the key players around this issue, or if we're being proactive and we want someone to share our message, we can be more data informed about what journalists we reach out to or what websites we have our stories placed. So again, here we can rank all of the different websites in relation to any given topic to understand who are the most influential or authoritative journalists, or at least engaging websites. So we'll have the opportunity to focus on any real life examples that you want, but for the moment, thank you very much for watching and appreciate your time. Bye.